Welcome back, guys, and thank you so much for joining us right here at Modern Myth for another exciting episode of the Rakish Rovers. My name's Tom Quinn, resident dungeon master here at Modern Myth, and as always, kind of a prerequisite for these things, I am joined by the Rovers themselves. Say hello to the people, everyone.
Hey, lovely people.
Hey, people.
All right. Look at those beautiful faces. Ready for some more swashbuckling adventures. Hopefully a little push into the Shattered Canyon. But before I put the cart too far in front of the horse, last episode we joined the Rovers as they departed Vensa. Not long into their voyage to the Shattered Canyon, they found themselves toe-to-toe with a what could well be a combatant vessel. As they approached the vessel, they came to realize that it was one of the workhorses of the Colhurst Mining Company, the Grendel. Did not take long for them to thwart what was a supremely well thought out and laid out ambush.
Fuck you, DM.
They managed to very effectively thwart that ambush. Aster did a little Dr. Filling up on the bow of their ship. But having thwarted them, claiming their small slice of the pie so as to hopefully incur less future aggravations in these types of endeavors, they load the cargo onto the ship and push off toward a few more days towards the Shattered Canyon. And it was at that moment, the opening of that crate, the moment of realization of what they had earned for their efforts and a little bit of blood spilled, that we will rejoin the Rovers. Anything you guys got before we dive straight in?
Let's do it.
We're good.
All right. As the entire crew, the Rovers included, lean in over this thoroughly well guarded, exceptionally so, given Colhurst mining history, they look down as the lid topples off onto the deck. Draco's hand reaches down into the chest. You gotta be shitting me. Raising it up and out, you can see what is kind of a glistening black piece of ore. He looks the thing over. It's almost an absence of light. It is so dark. In fact, kind of as he moves it, where you would expect, even though it's kind of got this, I don't want to say iridescence, but a good descriptor would be something like volcanic glass. Mm-hmm. But whereas the specularity of the gleam of sunshine off of it seems definitively muted, almost as if that light has kind of been pulled into this piece of stone or piece of ore. He kind of hands it off to one of the other crew. He puts his hands in, kind of digging around. Are you fucking... Box it up. Let's make haste, friend.
What was it?
He, turning back kind of away from the crate itself, he makes towards the companionway. And I mean, it's still open sitting in front of you. I mean, you can see it. I guess the best way to describe it, it looks like wet coal, as in wet as in glistening or gleaming, but is black like coal, an inky blackness.
Do I recognize it?
Immediately there's, I mean, not that you're huge on your geology, but I mean, you've seen many different types of ore and precious gems and minerals, that you'd be able to identify from books or reading.
You say.
You want to give that another spin?
But how much time we got? I'm just kidding.
All fucking day.
You'll definitely have some time, but you can see that a pretty distraught Captain Draco makes his way. You can hear kind of heading down the companionway. You can hear kind of the slam of something, and then kind of another crash as presumably his cabin door closes with a thud, and you don't hear anything more beyond that point.
Can I reach in and grab a little shard?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'll look at it. And as they're boxing it up, can I ask if I can keep it?
Who are you asking?
Is it Goron?
Gordon? Yeah. He's actually holding the larger spall as he kind of hucks it haphazardly. It kind of spins as it hits. You see it kind of fracture into 2 or 3 pieces on the top.
Oh,
with the rest
is it just like kind of like an obsidian, kind of a? It does fracture like that.
It seems to it breaks similar to like a volcanic glass. Yeah. It's,
okay.
It's definitely got more of that porcelainite.
So sharp.
You would guess that you could probably nap an edge out of it, certainly.
Okay.
But as he tosses it back, it kind of cracks and he begins kind of foisting.
Okay.
That's the correct
What
term.
is this?
Yeah.
Big fucking waste of time.
He hoists the.
Can I have this?
Keep it. You want some?
He pulls the lid back off.
Sure. I'll take like 5 or 6.
Are you taking them? Oh, I thought you made it.
Well, I am curious. I believe you said the Grendel came from the Sword Coast. Does it look familiar to me?
It does not.
No?
You-
Okay.
yeah, definitively, none of you looking at this recognize.
I'll
Can I
definitely
give it a
take a few
sniffy
pieces.
Absolutely.
Any odors coming off?
It
of it?
reeks of sulfur. It reeks
Kel,
of sulfur.
put it back.
What?
He's Goron's already begun kind of refitting the lid into place.
Well, what do you mean? I'd drop a few. What? What?
Something's not right about this.
What do you mean?
It smells of demons.
Demons?
Yeah.
Okay. No, I'll just like lift up the corner. And
Well,
stuff back
maybe
in.
let's keep it in a box, but I don't think we should be touching it. We need to
Okay.
figure out what this is, but you guys don't know what this is?
Junk ore. If it was worth anything, they'd have sold it.
Why are they
Something's
shipping
not
it?
right about it.
Big fucking waste of time as far as I'm concerned.
He pounding down with a heavy mallet, driving the lid back in place, and he begins refitting some of the iron banding that had held things in place.
Well, let's figure.
Stano,
Yeah,
stow this with the cargo below deck when you get a second.
will do. And
So
he'll go
you've
down.
returned everything that you taken out of the
Yeah, I
box?
shoved it back in and wiped my hands.
Okay.
Get it off.
The
Well, did you keep any of it?
No.
Okay.
the chest kind of returned to its original state. Sits on the deck, just awaiting your removal of it.
Let's get things moving. You heard the cap?
And he immediately begins setting to. And see, he begins reblocking out some of the cannons that they had prepped should things have gotten more dicey with the Grendel. The crew kind of springing into action. You know, the ship generally is run by 4 or 5 man crew. So a lot of your position on the ship is redundancy, but by all means, if any of you have a desire to partake in any of the responsibilities, but the you can feel kind of the billow of the ship. In effect, Valandrea Prin has stepped out to the central deck and has begun moving through some of her incantations, and you can feel kind of this column of air begin grabbing the first the mainsails and the topsails as each of them come down respectively. The ship kind of feel a lurching pull as you begin making your way, and you can see that Filian, who's jumped back on the helm, begins pulling hard to port. You feel the whole swing come around, and as he begins leveling back out, you can see the same. There's kind of 2 peaks, one that is more imposing than the other, but it's become something of a landmark given the entire day's travel you had prior. That more or less those peaks are a good demarcation of your heading towards the Shattered Canyon. The ship back underway. Again, crate still remaining on deck at this point. The world is yours.
It's first thing in the morning, right? I believe it was the end of the.
Well, it was first thing in the morning when you spotted the vessel, so it's still, let's say, mid-morning at this point.
Hey Aster, do you mind helping me with this crate? Let's see. He basically picks it up, no problem. But he's like, Aster, I need your help.
I actually need an athletics check.
I'm
you
buckled on that Minotaur belt.
you
I'm gonna
and
hold
Goron
him.
struggled getting that thing
Oh.
onto your
Okay.
ship. So
Can I help him?
yeah,
All right.
go ahead and give me an athletics check.
Yes!
Not a help
I'm
action.
doing it.
Fuck the help action.
4.
Witness me!
I helped him. I helped him.
I feel like every session there's something totally innocuous that you roll.
The cooking skills and the lifting
I
of
guess
boxes,
the
I
cooking-
wrecked.
the
the
cooking
cooking
definitely was-
was good.
Yeah.
No, but
Fish
I
tacos.
think I helped him.
Reach
It's on me.
Yeah. You begin kind of micromanaging the way he's lifting.
Are you lifting with your legs?
So I'm sorry. What's your total?
Oh, you actually. Fuck you. Crit is automatic success. You know that's how it works.
Fool's lawyer.
No, it's not. 28.
Okay. And you are contributing
4.
well, that's without modifiers.
Yes.
Okay, you are
There's
0.
no
Okay.
negative?
Wizard
I
life.
just want to make sure that you didn't have a negative.
Oh yeah, no, definitely.
Kel, as you kind of
I'm a hulked out
you can
wizard.
feel like all the vasculature, collarbone trying to tear its way out of your body.
I've got like a corner.
Aster's got like maybe a knuckle and a half on each finger, propping one of the corners up. And she's definitely giving you a good sense of the things that you're not doing well. No, as you guys
gotta grip it over.
make your way down, it's a little haphazard getting downstairs with this thing.
Yeah.
And but as you move down through the companionway, you're heading all the way down to cargo.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys head down to cargo. Anything you want to do with that as you?
Yeah. Aster, I think we need to know what this is.
Oh. Okay.
I don't want to alert anyone. So do you have like a
Oh, yeah.
glass vial or something we could put like a shard in it so we can, I don't know.
I think Kat might have the vials, but I can take a shard and I'll wrap it up in some cloth.
Okay. So yeah.
Okay. Make a perception check as you are.
Do I also need to do it?
She's the far more perceptive of the two.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I will provide the help action.
I don't think so.
Well, then
You're
I'll
just
roll
too
too.
afraid of it. You're like-
I remember the last demon.
I'm also
Yeah.
totally oblivious to things that are happening.
Is passive applicable for this, or is this?
Oh, good question.
No.
Okay.
I mean, no. If I'm ever using passive, I won't even ask you for the roll. So,
You just know she succeeds.
well, it's basically a virtual guarantee that.
Well.
But I mean, and it's a moment as you're kind of working back through, and it's not an insubstantial effort getting back into the crate because it's been rebanded, and
Yeah.
so you guys are gonna have to kind of crack that thing back
Yeah.
open to get a sample back out.
Mhm.
But as you remove the sample, you guys are thoroughly focused in on that
Yeah.
endeavor, completing that. While that's taking place, Katarina, is there anything that you?
We'll actually head to the captain's quarters.
Okay.
Hey.
What you planning on doing?
Knocking on the door.
Ooh, scandalous.
You,
Is it
I
a
knew
soft
you.
knock, or is it a?
It's a seductive knock.
It's
It's hard to pull off, but Cat can do it.
Kat did go to a finishing school. For these types of things, so.
We did practice our knocks, yes.
As you knock on the door, you hear kind of a low grumbling retort. It's kind of it's through the door. It's a little hard to. Come on. Yeah, come on in.
And I'll open the door.
As it swings open, for the first time, you're seeing the captain's quarters, which.
I actually really want to take this in to see like what kind of man he is.
As you step into that space, you can see. I mean, considering your current accommodations.
Holding cells.
This is you guys are basically as bilge ratted as you get on the boat. But looking at these quarters, not an elaborate setup, but I mean it's clearly whichever shipwright built this knew that there was going to be a captain, and that captain was going to be a man of station, likely. They probably didn't presume this vessel would be in the hands of privateers or pirates. But so, I mean, it is a pretty marvelous space, though you can immediately see with kind of your more noble upbringing, all sorts of places where if someone had a mind to really up the pomp in this space, they could do it. Those things have been left reasonably mundane. You can see some kind of maroon or reddish velvet curtains that make up the transom windows, kind of closing that out. A very large berth, something probably like we're exceeding the California King space. I mean, it is a substantial berth. It's majority of the beam of the aft of the vessel. So, but
Are there any personal effects? I mean, is it pretty clean?
give me a perception check as you come in.
20.
Just a quick kind of your eyes darting around, you can see there is a desk which seems to serve both as a nav station for the captain, as well as there seem to be a few personal effects. From where you enter, you can't quite see. There's definitively a couple of photographs that have been placed. I say photograph, it's an etching or a tintype of some kind, but a framed piece that sits on the desk, but again, it's back facing towards you. You can see a number of charts laid out on the table, and you can see that there is an alcove that serves as kind of clothing storage, and you can see some very pompous attire, which is kind of tucked in there and laden with dust. Presumably, maybe the prior occupants' apparel, and again, quite extravagant with frills. A large feathered hat kind of hangs neatly on a hook that's attached there. Come on in, Katerina. So, close the door behind you.
All right, I'll do that and then enter the space.
And you could see that there is a decanter, albeit a relatively nothing fancy, basically a glass decanter that he has already got a partial glass of whiskey poured from. Sit down. He gestures to a seat beside the desk. I get you something to drink.
Yeah, actually, that would be nice.
A tin cup. You know, one of the grog sloggers. Nothing fancy. As he just pours, and you could see it is a very small pour. You note in his glass, equally so. Despite the fact that he clearly needs to take the edge off a little bit, he's also taking some pains to ensure that
Keeps his mind right.
that he keeps his mind right. What can I do for you? You can see pacing kind of back and forth. For a moment, he kind of finds a seat, and then kind of within a matter of a minute is back up on his feet. Just kind of moving about the cabin.
Seems as though you have a lot on your mind.
So that's my job up here.
I can understand that. Captain, I have a personal question.
All right.
Do you have family? Siblings, perhaps?
I'm not sure that's really pertinent to you carrying out your duties on board here.
I know. As you have a lot on your mind, I do as well. And
Appreciate that.
I don't wish to take up much of your time, but my crew, my companions, they are my family. And Vensa took something from each of us. But it took the most from Aster.
I'm not sure I'm following, but
Any family that she had is gone, lost on Vensa. We are all that she has left. And I didn't come here for pity. I came here because it sounds as though the Shattered Canyon is going to be incredibly dangerous. And I would ask that any future pirate endeavors or our time in the Shattered Canyon, that you would consider giving Aster the safer job.
make a persuasion check.
Oh. I'm gonna lucky that.
Ooh.
I rolled the same. Oh
Ah!
my god.
You can lucky it again, you know.
No.
You can lucky again.
Yeah.
Stop. That'll be a 16.
Oh my god, it's a bad roll with a
Seriously?
16.
Yeah, well.
Fuck rogues.
Expertise, baby.
Thing is, Katerina, everyone on this vessel is part of my crew. Piece of advice, as we've been working closely together. I appreciate your sentiment to these people. You think of them as family. And this maybe gets to the heart of my disinterest in talking about my family. You find yourself too attached, members of your crew. Makes it real difficult to make objective decisions that are for the good of the entire crew. My responsibility isn't to this vessel. My responsibility is to the people on it. And I will utilize every member of my crew in the way that I think best serves the longevity of the entire crew.
I respect what you say, and I haven't lost my objectiveness. In fact, that's precisely why I'm here. Aster puts on a brave face.
She's a brave girl.
But I fear that the things that haunt her, her power, are on the brink of destroying her, of destroying perhaps everyone around her. That's why I ask you again, not only for your confidence in this conversation, but for the safety of not only her, but this crew.
I'll take that under advisement.
Thank you for your time, Captain.
And Katerina, that's precisely the kind of thing I'd like to know about as this endeavor unfolds. You have my word that this conversation doesn't leave this room.
Good day, Captain.
Bouncing back to you guys as you finish up down in the hold, what would you guys like to be doing?
Are we expected on deck?
You guys are underway, so you're more or less in the same space. Draco's been pretty adamant that, like, you know, he doesn't want.
Work.
Yeah, he wants you guys ready to go when you get to the canyon. The ship, you know, should there be needs that arise in managing the ship, you will be made well aware of those. But as far as once you're on a heading and you're cruising, as long as the minimum rolls, everyone else should be doing whatever it is they need to do to be ready to be at their best when you hit the canyon.
Okay.
Are we planning? When are we going to be reaching the canyon? Do we know?
You're probably another day's
Okay.
travel out.
In
So
that
this is
case,
your last opportunity for a little R&R.
So this is a day being 24 hours, so we'll have one more rest.
Presumably,
Okay.
I mean, if you want to get right down to the hour by hour, you're gonna have to talk with someone else. But
yeah. Okay.
given what you looked at on those charts, be a rough estimation. That very early morning, could be sometime in the night, could be late morning,
Okay.
but
Okay.
well,
I'm done.
Yes. Well, let's find out what this is then. If we've got a minute.
yeah. Let's.
But I'll go to, I guess our whole, they're not private per se, the holding cells.
They're pretty private.
But they
I mean, they're just so removed from everything else that it garners a certain. And being that you have moved down to the holding area for the cargo, you're not far at all from your
Okay.
actual.
here I'll go back there. I'll run identify as a ritual on
Okay.
the shard.
And
Cal will go with her to.
Ollie is just hanging out. I always assume he is, but just
Yeah,
to
no,
be sure.
he's chill.
Okay.
Does he smell anything? I guess I don't know that. Do I know that you smell things?
Hey, you've seen me sniff the air and react
Okay.
to it. Yeah.
Okay. Does Ollie smell anything?
He's specifically smelling the.
No, just ambient. I don't know if being around the crate or.
Oh, he doesn't take any particular interest in it. I mean, he kind of noses at it as you are messing with it, and to some extent making it more difficult to do what it is you're trying to do. Yeah, you have a couple times that
He's a little heavier
get out of
than
here. But he doesn't seem to be paying it any particular notice. So as you begin investing your 10 minutes into getting the crystal identified, Kel, what are you doing during that time?
Cal is just standing guard. He's
Okay.
He's ready. Like he's very uneasy with
Okay.
this object.
As you are standing ready, kind of staring back down the long length. This runs
Right.
down along the port, kind of the port side of the vessel, and looking down, you can see stacks of cargo. You can see further beyond that some of the hammocks that are hanging, and then kind of the end bulkhead that turns to head you back up to the next deck.
Mm-hmm.
As you stand and wait, you begin conducting your identify ritual. You said you are heading off to find them, and having seen them head down below with the crate, heading that way, you actually run into Goron, who's heading back the opposite direction as you're passing, and he's kind of got a pretty stern, focused look on his face. He's moving with a purpose as he heads back the other direction, coming up, whereas you're heading down.
Everything all right, Goran?
It's fine.
Anything I can help with?
Get some rest. See if the boys up top need any help.
Continues on past you, and as you make your way down, you can see he onto the captain's door.
I want to pause at the stair.
Okay.
And if Goron enters and they close the door, I want to approach the door.
Dropping some eaves.
You hear a similar call. Come on in, and the door swings open, and there's a familiarity there where Goron basically steps in. The door kind of closes with a thud behind him.
Now, is this into a hallway or does this kind of dead end where his quarters are?
His quarters take up the entire aft portion of this deck, so it's. I mean, that door goes into.
Gotcha.
Yep. So you are, you're heading back toward the door.
Yeah, once the door closes, I'm gonna stealth my way over.
Give me a stealth check as you.
Elephant boots.
With advantage.
Do you have those?
I do.
I thought you gave them to Aster.
I give him
Shoot
back.
Oh, okay.
I crit! Yay!
DM
Yay!
getting
Witness me in my stealth mode!
Creeping up to the door, you.
You can't see me, but witness me!
Witness me. Don't
I'm-
witness me.
I'm presuming. I'm presuming you are. I'm presuming you are old school ear to the door.
Oh yeah.
as you press your ear to the door, you can hear a,
What do you mean, demonic? I don't know, boss. He said something about demons. Reeks of demons.
you can hear kind of a creaking footfalls kind of moving throughout space, and in your mind you can immediately conjure up that same pacing motion. You can hear the faint kind of pour of some liquid into a cup.
I want you to keep eyes on this. I don't want you saying anything. I want to see what they do with this information.
I'm gonna sneak away before.
As you turn and sneak away, you can hear the heavy groan of boards, and as you make your way just down the stairs, you hear kind of the thud of the captain's door open back up, and you can hear heavy footfalls turn and go up the companionway.
Okay.
As you push back down, it's just about this time that you are finishing up, and you see Katarina turn the corner and begin heading your way. As the final kind of arcs of arcane energy dancing from your fingers onto this piece of ore, I guess you can say, it suddenly kind of flits upright. It's kind of as a spall, say, it's kind of ovular in its shape, and the edges, while not sharp like it would cut you, they kind of coming to a point, kind of flits upright into a vertical fashion, almost like a top on end, and it even kind of moves like a top as though it were spinning, like it's kind of wavering as to whether or not it's going to fall. You see it kind of vibrate slightly, and there is a flash, a flicker in your mind, such a torrent of information that we're going to find out how much you can grasp as a fire hose of information comes pouring out.
Okay.
Give me an intelligence.
Oh, that's her weakest though.
Oh, I'm sorry. Give me your strength check minus your constitution.
Oh, so Cal's intelligence.
Because
Oh.
sick burns. I've decided though that a strength minus con makes more sense for this.
Oh, okay. Naturally.
No, give me an intelligence check.
An
'cause-
intelligence check? Okay. Okay, given my...
Can I just, am I within 10 feet of her, just in case? Can I move within 10 feet of her? If not.
Given that you're bringing it up now, I'm gonna say no.
Okay.
But you would be damn close anyways. You're probably 50. I mean, there's not that much.
Well, I
space
was
back
also
there.
hoping for aura
Yeah.
to help.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I am practicing. Dice Dragon.
Take the
Oh.
lowest. Take the lowest.
You got two good
I've
ones
been
here.
I've been clear about practice rules.
Okay, I'm gonna take yours out.
But
Three.
She touched my metal dice. The filthy
Uh-oh.
plastic dice.
Well, you left it in there.
Okay.
Right, that was pretty good. We'll go with that one.
You got this, baby.
Okay.
Don't lose your mind to demons! Or devils. I don't mean,
all
you
the
don't know.
information. All of it.
Oh, yes!
I can't see.
17.
Plus
Nice.
5, so 22.
A torrent of information comes pouring into you, not just your mind. I mean, you can feel
I like drinking from
experiences and information kind of bombarding your system, almost like radiation. It's a I mean, not that you would necessarily feel radiation, but you are
Depends on the radiation.
being information dumped on by this thing, a blur of slogging through mountainous vistas, rain pouring down, slop of mud as whatever this experience is, you're kind of living it through their eyes, deep, darker and darker tunnels as you fight your way through hordes of creatures, beastly entities coming out of the dark. You, glancing to your right, can see an expanse of entities armed and armored, shouting and screaming, running alongside you. To your left, glancing out the same, this massive cavern that you found yourself in, charging forward. You feel the whoosh overhead of something massive displacing air, and you see a creature that in this darkness, kind of this pale shape, kind of whoosh over, and as you're taking all of this in, you kind of finally redirect your focus straight ahead, and you can see a kind of tusked horned beast raising kind of this massive mace as it slams down a shatter of this kind of volcanic glass arcing out towards you. And kind of in that moment, you feel an unbelievable pain as you kind of your head craning to the side. You watch as just as you are kind of consumed by this, you can feel the shards kind of driving their way up in through your body. You watch as a grand effigy is kind of amassed of this front. Things kind of go black, and the crystal topples off to its side, and you are back in the aft.
Aster, you okay?
Aster's like her eyes are rolled back and their eyelids are fluttering, and then as soon as she felt the pain, she just and then like backs the F back from the shard as fast as she can.
What is it? What did you see?
God.
Is this audible to me? Am I down
You were
close?
probably just hearing this. In fact, Kel probably makes eye contact with you just before you're hearing the sound, and you see him whir around. You also note that Ollie, you can see scales bristled, and he is kind of pulled back, everything kind of lowered in, and you can hear kind of a grumbling hiss hanging in the back of his
If
throat.
I could rush over to.
Okay, as you push forward.
Put it back. And she'll just like try to close her eyes and process what she saw.
Kel will give her a nod as is it in the cloth or vial or what?
It was wrapped in a cloth.
So I'll wrap it up back in the cloth and take it back so I can put it back in the chest.
As you collect it up and set to returning it back to the chest, is there anything?
I guess it's a series of things I'm trying to kind of process. Number one, the initial range, or are there any defining geographical features?
Because she placed it where she saw the vision.
The information I gave you is precisely
Just that
the
it's
level
mountainous.
of resolution that
It was
you
mountainous
received.
and it was misty.
I thought it was a canyon.
Or was it?
I mean, this was many experiences. I mean, you found yourself in a mountainous region. You found yourself slogging through a swamp, rain pouring on you.
Okay.
Yeah. Not all one.
Okay,
one
so there
movement.
was okay.
Um,
Did I get any sort of details about my comrades in terms of their armor, their size, their weapons?
Most all of them humanoid. The range of weapons is about as broad as you could. I mean, you could see some arcane energy spooling up. You could see.
Did they look organized or like rabble?
I'd say fairly well organized, though.
Okay.
In that cavern that you found yourself in at the end, things were so dark that you're kind of making this out down a row of torchlight, torch bearers who are having to, kind of
That's a fun job.
Stalingrad-esque. Like you get a weapon, you get a torch. Go.
Yeah,
Yay!
when the person dies with the weapon, you take the weapon.
Yeah. So that kind of a feel, but no, you had the sense that you were part of something, certainly something organized that was pushing in.
Did I recognize what the creature was?
Make a
The
religion
tusks.
check.
Ooh, still
Religion.
intelligence. But
All right, practice.
shouldn't have practiced it.
Acceptable. All right. It's okay. It's fine. It's fine.
Is it?
Is
8.
Is it 8? 13.
The glint, and it's literally an instant between you kind of turning and this mace crashing down and the searing pain of being impaled hundreds of times over.
How big?
Massive.
Like
your
the pit seemed
engagement.
massive.
Your engagement with Aurochs was child's play massive.
The fuck?
Okay.
Talking god
Okay.
level
So we're
here.
talking this.
So
god
I
level.
soiled myself, is basically what you're saying.
I mean, you haven't made the check for it yet, but
Constitution.
if you, I'm just gonna make it an automatic failure.
Was the thing overhead larger than the brute?
No, definitely not larger, but it was of substantial
But
size.
that's the thing. I don't
Was
know.
it familiar? Was there anything about it familiar?
Again, in the very poor perception you have of it, the only thing I can say is that it was a pale color, light blue, a white, a gray. It was definitively, discernible against the blackness of the ceiling overhead. But that's
Okay.
If you want, I could sketch what you remember. If you come to remember
yeah,
things and dates,
yeah.
then we can.
I'm
Ooh,
just
that's
no. I was
smart.
gonna ask you for sure. The beast that we were fighting against. Did he have any did he have any with him? Or was it just him?
you were confident it did. But again, any details about
Like
them,
it wasn't two armies necessarily,
No.
and he was a part of them.
again, the scale at which you were at relative to this thing was massive. If there was others, you just, again, in your mind, you're confident there was,
Okay,
but drawing back to that.
Okay. 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 That it was huge. And I will try to recall as many color, size, tusks. He wielded a hammer, or was it just his fist?
It sounded
A mace.
A mace. Okay.
And as you can be
Yeah, I'll
conveying
describe
all of this.
everything that I can as best I can, and as she's sketching, no, it's like this, and kind of
Does that mean there's help involved?
refining.
No, you're lucky I'm not giving you disadvantage.
Oh come
I know.
on.
Well,
Girls gotta try. 19.
Okay. You begin sketching things down, and again, even as you're kind of watching her do it, and you're trying to recall in that dreamlike fugue experience of it, there you even begin questioning, like, wait, was it like that, or was it more like but what she ends up with, you feel is a pretty reasonable capturing on paper of
okay.
of what you had seen, albeit again it's kind of a still a pretty rough sketch.
Okay. Whatever this was, what we just went through pales in comparison.
Oh God. Is
And this ore came from wherever this was.
so? Is it like that? Remember when we fought that pit lord? There was that crystal. Is it kind of like that, where this thing is trapped in it?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't think it.
Well, this isn't right. This is
What I
not
don't
just
understand is
worthless
why is this ore being transported?
ore. Well, if you can control a demonic presence, that's a very powerful weapon.
Kelly, you said that you smelled sulfur and stone mantle, correct?
I smell sulfur. Yes.
So perhaps
what they're
this is
mining?
originating in
Do you
stone
think they're
mantle.
looking for the weapons?
I don't know. I don't know what they're looking for.
That's
Maybe-
what they were.
Or maybe they've dug too deep.
They've delved too deep.
Why would
Greedily.
Too greedily.
right?
Hey,
Hey.
copyright.
Hey.
Keep it tight.
Well, I botched the quote, so.
I said
good
it.
luck
I
with
said
that.
Should we fly, you fools?
But wherever it was mountainous.
Okay.
I don't know that for sure. There was
Whatever this.
flashes of mountain swamp, and it was an army, and we were the army was organized. They were coming up against this beast, and they were decimated.
Well, whatever this is not worthless ore like the captain thinks.
It was intended for something, and it's not good. I don't know how wise it is to keep it on board.
That's what I'm thinking.
Can I look around and just make sure there's nobody else in
Your perception.
earshot?
Can I I want to make sure you keep your drawing
Yes.
Did you
safe,
roll good?
quiet.
Did you do a good roll?
good.
Yeah.
It's a 29.
Holy fuck.
She's
Fucking
like,
Hawkeye that shit.
Goddamn robes, dude. Oh my god.
oh, somebody being stealthy.
Do I need to get her out?
As you glance around, you make note on the far end of Goron, who, whether by pure happenstance or by other means, immediately steps out and comes kind of moving down the lane.
Cap wants everyone up top. Let's button it up.
We should speak with the
Turns
We should speak with
and
the captain.
begins heading back towards.
Did you already put it away?
Oh yeah. When you said the second you
Okay.
said to put it away, I put it
And
away,
then-
and then you started drawing while I was putting it away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Make sure no one sees the drawing till we.
I always keep my sketchbook close.
Okay.
And is
Um,
Kel aware
The-
that you drew it?
Yeah. It probably took some time.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You were present
Okay.
while she was
Okay.
conveying it. So
Have you? So you saw the drawing? Does it look familiar to you?
I could roll an intelligence check if you want.
It was a religion, wasn't it?
well, I'm just going to say, seeing as you were asking if you saw it,
Yeah.
I'm going to say you were present for them drawing it, but at this point you have not studied the.
Okay.
The
I don't think he'd be. Yeah.
Yeah, I figure you'd be more on watch than
Yeah.
you would be on.
So Kel will be fully buttoned up, battle armor ready to roll as he goes to the top.
Okay, you're heading up top.
Yeah. As let's talk to the captain.
And I think there's a lot we need to talk to the captain about.
Okay.
All right, you guys push back on deck. You include.
Yeah.
As you break up to the top of the deck, you can see that Goron has finished buttoning up the top deck cannons, and you also notice that Draco is nowhere to be seen on the top deck.
Is he still in his?
He's not here. But as you break up top,
Stano,
Yeah.
I know they haven't been fired, but I want once over cleaning on all these topside cannons.
Yes, sir.
he gives you a nod and kind of his eyes trace from you to Katarina to Aster.
Can I do an insight check to see if he's stalling or trying to redirect us into something else?
Make an insight check.
17.
You get the sense that Goron is kind of playing his part as crew on the vessel. Certainly, getting you on any duties that you're looking at the duties, and that's there. You're being handed a little bit of busy work. That's I think pretty obvious. You do, like I said, you certainly make note of the fact that you were just told that the captain wanted you on deck, and the captain isn't up here.
Cat, did he hear?
Goron, you said the captain needed us.
Yeah, he wanted all hands.
Is there an enemy? Another ship that we are going to
Nope.
board?
Just dressing the crew, I suppose. You'll excuse me, I've got some work to do down below.
Well, perhaps I can help.
Won't say no to a second pair of hands.
He heads down, and much as the top cannons need some addressing, he's just going to check those cannons out.
Can I have the drawing?
Just quickly to Aster. Don't say anything to the captain yet.
Give me a stealth check as you.
Still.
check.
Oh, thank goodness for advantage. 19.
Was that for me or?
Not advantage. That's to move silently.
Oh, okay. I'll re-roll then since I
Yeah,
rolled
just
2.
re-roll.
Okay.
We're moving silently. What?
No, you're whispering.
15.
Yeah. I think she was leveraging her boots into a whisper.
Yeah, that was my fault.
Oh, I see.
You need the kazoo of elven kind if you want to whisper.
Boy,
it
that
in
fucking Alvin kazoo is annoying. Fucking hate kazoos. Remember that
14.
kid? The kazoo kid?
there. Yes.
Oh my god.
As he doesn't skip a beat. He's heading straight down. He doesn't seem to
Okay,
take any
Okay.
note as you have a brief exchange.
And Kel didn't hear it either, did he? Or
No,
should-
I'm assuming.
I'm
you
assuming I
got
did
right
my-
on.
yep,
it.
I got my
Kind of
job.
soldierly style. Moving into to aid him with that. The captain makes his way out onto deck as you guys pass back down, and you kind of remaining on deck, jobless at this point.
Did you give me the drawing or no? Cat.
She's already
And at
downstairs.
this point, she's
Oh.
gone down the stairs. Aster,
Sir.
you enjoying yourself up here?
I'm looking for work, sir.
I'll let you know when some finds me. Like I said, I want you sharp. I know, well, I should say I don't know, but it's my understanding that everything you do can be pretty taxing mentally. So, like I said,
Beg your pardon, sir?
your arcane skills.
Used any? Really?
No, I'm just saying I want to make sure you are prepared to go when we hit the canyon.
Sure. Understood. Okay, well, I'll see where I can make myself useful. Are his pets still on board?
Yep, they are on the aftmost portion of the quarterdeck.
So up top.
Yep, yeah, basically all the way to the very back. The helm is kind of the forwardmost portion of that quarterdeck, and the very, very, very aft is is where Kali and Xerxes reside.
What's the other names again?
Kali and Xerxes.
I knew Xerxes, but I couldn't remember the other one. Sorry.
What's the other one? Colleen?
Are
Kali.
Kali and
Kali
Xerxes
Ma.
off limits?
No.
It's with you.
Your crew on my vessel, nothing here is off limit. I want you guys to feel like you can engage in this space just as well as any of the men who've been sailing with me for years.
Okay,
That said, they'll bite the shit out you.
I gathered. I gathered.
All right. Keep those fingers on your hands and
I intend to, sir. But I do have a little dragon around me. So I'm
he flashes
familiar.
him a glance as kind of giving both of you, first you a nod and then kind of a smaller nod towards Ollie.
yeah, she'll scratch under his chin. I'm familiar.
He kind of bites at your fingers while you do it. It's your like cat fashion.
Ouch, ouch.
A spray of blood decorates the
Shield plays it off. I'm really familiar.
It's fine. Everything's fine.
He kind of turning back begins addressing some of the broader deck. You can see he goes in a conversation too far forward for you to hear. He begins engaging with Mr. Slate, who's up towards the bow.
Okay. She just looks around. Is there anybody needing anything at the moment from what she sees?
It's honestly it's pretty lax. You can see Fillion's on the helm. I mean, it's been lashed, but he's at the helm, I should say. And with that, I mean, you're the day on the top deck is just beginning to kind of slide into what you're coming to find is a life that is broadly mundane, dotted with little pockets of kind of high excitement, pivoting back down to the lower deck. You and Goron, there's not much to do down here. He kind of does a walk through. There's a few of the chalks that he kicks back in place, kind of lashing down. There's some heavy chain that when they're not in use, they lock the cannons in place, so they're both chalked and chained.
You can handle those three over there. I got these ones on the side.
I'll set to it.
He
So Goron, have you seen this cargo before? Is this a pretty regular haul for you guys?
Wouldn't be in business long. This was a regular haul.
yanking heavy on one of the chains and lashing it down.
Have you seen it before?
I mean, we've taken ore before, but it's all the same. Not worth the effort, not worth the blood, not worth the risk.
I can understand that. Now, it's this exact ore you've seen before? Or does this ore look a little different?
Different, I suppose, but it's ore is ore is ore.
But is it though?
We're not going to be able to fence this for any reasonable price. It's raw. It's unrefined. It's, quite frankly, we do well to pitch it right over the fucking side. I know it's gonna be me, or Bastano's got to hold the fucking thing around next port we call.
I can help.
Aster's also really good at lifting things.
She thinks she is. It's like you're really good at sharpening things.
I saw that Bastano gave her a hand getting it down the stairs.
Yeah. They're a good team.
Some reason you were so intent on sorting out the cannons down here. This is a little outside your purview.
I like to be aware of every aspect of the ship, the crew that I work with, so that I know if I'm needed, I can be there to help.
Appreciate that. Dare I say some of Draco might be rubbing off on you.
How do you mean?
Just what you said there. Reminded me of something Draco told me when we first started crewing together.
How long have you guys been crewing together?
Well, it's been 6 years now. Well, will be
Has he
this winter.
been a captain? or something?
Draco's been a captain as long as he's been alive. Long before he had a ship. I've seen the two of you. Bit of friction. That'll pass.
You've seen this before.
Ship can't have two captains.
That's fair.
He cinches down the last cannon.
Let's get some fresh air. Won't be long before I'm gonna start putting in real work.
Nudge past in the narrow gap, and this deck is really, I mean, it's a row of cannons and munitions supplies. I mean, there's not much room to move through here, so kind of slipping past you, ducking underneath, he heads back for the top side.
I'll follow.
As you all find yourself on the top deck, the actually entirety of the crew now present on the top deck, things find again that kind of lazy lull.
I wanted to go down back to the holding cell briefly.
Okay.
Can I make sure I'm alone?
Sure. Give me a perception check once you're down. That said, as you head down, I mean, no one is seen on any of the decks as you make your way down there.
20 crit.
Witness her!
Witness her! I witness you!
You realize there is one other individual down in this space. He chitters in your ear and kind of
Oh, well, okay.
rubs against you.
You.
As you.
You. He's living this new form, isn't he?
He's liking it.
Um,
Pseudo dragon.
You are doing what?
I am going to somewhere private and quietly. I'm going to pull out my spending zone.
Okay.
Secret conversations.
Player knowledge
And
versus character knowledge.
in the cipher language that we've
Okay.
created, I'm going to say, please respond. Are you okay? Are you
Is that it?
well? For now. And then I'm just gonna sit there for a few minutes.
Yeah. A minute passes, and then another. I'm fine. I'm a bit surprised to hear from you. I had expected something sooner.
And that's it for the day, so I can't respond. Okay, and she'll stow it and then go back on deck.
Okay. As you push up, at this point, you're kind of into late morning, maybe even pushing into that kind of noon time frame.
Did I do a really good job of getting those cannons ready?
I mean, are they so
What
Because
would
she
ready?
gave me
I'll do
busy work, and I want to make sure I did a good job.
Give me a dex check.
Oh hell yeah! I get to roll dice.
Roll
That's
some
all I
dice.
want.
I'll actually I'll grant you advantage, so you can roll your second. Given that
Oh,
you have no lack of experience in cleaning and prepping weapons and gear.
14.
Honestly, as you start cleaning them, like you're expecting some amount of carbon deposits
Right.
so Goran already did a pretty immaculate job with these.
Right.
You find a little bit here and there that, like, you know, that
I'll make sure to note where he missed so I can.
so you rub it in his face.
later.
But you kind of looking them over. I mean, things are pretty immaculate on deck, and in general, despite the fact that, you know, this is a slightly motley crew, things are still
Ship shape.
done by the books here.
Right.
There's still, you know, there's a certain amount of professionalism
Okay.
that speaks to not just a group of random people who happen to come into possession of.
Right.
Um,
Sweet. I got to roll some dice.
But as that finishes up, the afternoon begins slinking. I mean, it's like I said, you are able to find anyone who wants to find some way of taking a load off, but that's more or less the expectation as the afternoon pushes on.
I'd like to do some stuff. So hang on. Do we want to talk to the captain? I want to very much.
I think we should.
Okay.
I don't. Kat, why did you stop us earlier?
Looking around, is there anybody within earshot of us?
Again, everyone's found their own way of relaxing, and if you guys are intent on having a conversation somewhere on the ship that is
Let's actually head down to the holding cell.
Okay.
I mean, our rooms.
Yeah.
It's the junior
It's the
executive
junior
suite.
Junior suite.
Okay.
The captain is aware of what you noted about it being demonic.
Okay.
His response is that he wants to see what we do with this information. So,
Wouldn't it be prudent to be forthright about
and
Yeah,
it?
unless
especially if
he
he's
has
aware.
some information himself about it on the other end, I don't know.
What
I was
is
hoping to
the
feel him out.
harm of coming forward with this
Then
information?
all our cards are on the table.
What's wrong with that?
We don't know his motivation.
For what? Do you think he's in league with the demonic presence?
I don't know. You have to be wary of people.
Okay, but I'm just saying, probably he is not in league with the random ore he found on another ship. So if we're stuck on a vessel with this demonic thing, why aren't we being forthright about it?
He's clearly not happy about it.
And I suppose I would like a little bit more information because
About
what?
what?
What do we have?
Wouldn't we all? But I don't think time is something we can afford.
On the
We need to
battlefield,
do-
every single bit of information can be life or death. The
If
fact that we
you
haven't
didn't
told
see
him
what I
about,
saw.
and we haven't told him about Buttercup either. We hinted at it, but he knows a little bit about that. The fact that we haven't told him about that is wrong.
All right. First, though, I think it's wise that you identify this piece from the belly of Vensa, the
Oh,
plate mail.
Aurochs?
Yeah.
Do I recognize it?
Yeah, it's the plate mail that we.
as such.
Oh yeah,
no,
you
I know,
haven't-
but I was doped. I was
you were riding the dragon.
Yeah, I mean,
Ride the dragon.
I was a little.
chasing the dragon. I just need one more.
Can I access the power one more time? Just one more time.
Let me touch it again.
You definitely acknowledge it for what it is and from where it came from. Certainly, kind of in that bleary post arcane heroine kind of a vibe, but yes, as you are removing it from the bag of holding. Or-
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And she'll get set about doing that, albeit reluctantly.
All right. Sitting down, your ritual.
Yes.
Okay. As you
So far as we have time perceived.
Kel,
Yeah,
make sure he's
you got-
within
you
10
got
feet of her.
plenty of time.
Okay.
Kel is like, you can see he's bristling, he's on guard, and you can actually see that Ollie a little bit too. Ollie would just as soon this not be going on now. He's still a little charged
Yeah,
from the last one, but
but
as you move into that ritual, the 10 minutes subsides, and you see standing before you, actually not dissimilar visually. It certainly has this kind of onyxy, black character to it. You find yourself in the presence of the vestige of the Black Heart.
Can I give it a sniffy sniff?
You can.
Sulfur? Okay.
Nothing that jumps out at you.
Thank you.
okay. Details.
It is plate mail.
Hell yeah.
+1.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
Of the Black Heart.
No, I don't know. I'll be giving up my freaking dope Ankeg armor.
And it is cursed.
Oh,
Of
there's
course it is. Hang on. Let me go get my spells so I can find remove curse, but go ahead.
I got you.
Whilst wearing the armor, all healing is halved, both
Ooh.
incoming and outgoing.
So that's good to know.
The armor also may not be removed.
Oh, is that part of the
Is
curse?
that part of the curse?
That is part of the curse.
Okay.
Does it have any other boons or
Is
just,
it
it's a +1?
Just +1.
Okay.
I don't know if that's worth the Ankeg bonuses though. There's a lot of bonuses on the Ankeg.
Plus, you're already like a 29.
Plus, you like to take it
so.
off. And on.
Again, I'm 20 and I haven't gotten any AC boost in 11 levels. Or 10 levels? What level are we now?
So what you're saying is I shouldn't have given you such an early AC boost.
No, what I'm saying is it's okay to give me a +1 every once in a while.
Hey, it's just a
saying.
curse. It's
Done
just
and
a
done.
curse.
Thanks,
It's
dude.
just a
I really
curse.
appreciate the kindness of your DM
done
heart.
and done. Yeah, so as that is revealed, anything else you guys need to do down in the...
No, I really think we need to have a conversation.
I think so too.
All right.
With all information. Let's not hold. Why hold something back?
Well, if I were him, I'd throw me over.
If he does, and we all go overboard. You got Featherfall, right?
Do you know that? I don't know if you know that.
Yeah.
You have used it a number of times, so he's seen
fair.
it in action.
I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so
I don't
okay.
think
Maybe he wasn't.
All right,
present for it.
fine. Retcon that statement.
Hey, player character.
I'm sorry, Tom. I thought I might have, but anyway.
I'm pretty sure
Why
I
don't you
used
do
it in the trance, the with the manifesto, but I don't
Oh.
think I've used it
Yeah.
outside of that.
Fair.
Okay.
Well, again, I just want to caution that I think before knowing his motivations, I think this is a rash move. But if you guys think it's the route you want
If
to go,
we are, the
I
thing
think
is,
the time, be that as it may, the time spent gathering information could be detrimental based on the proximity of this material.
yeah. And if the captain wants to throw it overboard, it won't hurt my feelings any. Though I think
I
it's-
don't think we need to go into battle with this on board, I should say.
Hmm.
then let's find the captain.
Yep. It's his decision. It's his boat.
As to the other
What about
piece of
Buttercup?
information,
He knows something's up because we addressed it. Like, oh shit. Hey, Captain, just to let you know. So he knows.
oddly intuitive of you.
No, didn't I was on deck.
Yeah, you were definitely present for the...
Yeah.
He got a taste of what we know, but you're right. I think he should know more.
No question. Okay.
All right. This is going to be a lot.
As you push up onto deck, you find that the captain is chatting with Filion at the helm station. The two of them, in fact, they actually seem to kind of be yucking it up a little bit. It's not that often that you see outright jovial attitude, but you can see that again. Once there's kind of a groove, once the have-tos are done, everything kind of slumps
Relaxes.
into what is really relaxed is the best word. I mean, it's relaxed, it's comfortable. You can see that everybody kind of finds their own way of killing time, staying sharp. And that is how you find the captain alongside Fillion.
Captain, a word.
Granted.
In private.
All right. He gestures back towards the aftmost portion of the deck and begins making his way back there.
Okay, we'll follow. Near Xerxes and Caleb?
Yep. As he approaches, you can see that Kali.
Yeah.
Kalima.
That both of them, and I mean they are thoroughly caged, and you can see that they are hooded as well. They've got blinders on.
Okay.
But immediately as they approach, you can see both of them kind of nosing in the air. You can hear they kind of let out a chitter, and there is it's a little foul smelling back here. There's a certain musk to the wyverns themselves, but it's not helped any by the fact that there's effectively a crate of like dead small game.
Does Ollie do anything?
I mean, he certainly kind of acknowledges them. In fact, you can see that as they kind of their heads tipping up and they let out a bit of a call, a chirp in the captain's direction. You can see Ollie's posture kind of pivoting slightly, almost in a monkey see, monkey do kind of fashion. Draco fishes out what looks like it could have been a rabbit, maybe, or and kind of tossing it over in their direction. Blinders on and everything. You watch as one of them catches it, the other one kind of laying its mouth on it. Two of them kind of rip the thing apart before kind of tossing it back in a very reptilian kind of. No real chewing, just kind of once they've torn it apart, they kind of toss it back until it slumps down their throats.
Delicious.
And you can hear kind of a chittering purr come out from the cages as they kind of withdraw back in.
Is there a reason you don't breed them, Captain?
Oh, we do breed them. Though captivity, the females can get a little testy when they go in the heat. It's part of the reason we need the eggs. Wyvern will adopt an egg in its presence. Doesn't need to produce one of their own. She'll get downright intolerable, violent, if we don't have something for her to nurture. But we bred them in the past. It's quite frankly, I don't think it's worth the effort. There's a market for these things, but tied up of people that would buy one of these creatures off you. They got nothing but ill intent. Not the kind of thing I'd visit on the one that I raised myself. You said you had something to discuss.
Yes. Well, it's a couple things, but mainly about the cargo that we just acquired. Well, I've learned more about it. I don't know what you know. Have you seen this before?
First time for everything.
Insight check. But you knew it was
I can do Zone of Truth
worthless?
if you want me to.
I mean, again, we'll scalp it off for whatever we can, but it certainly ain't worth the effort nor the risk to my crew.
I would agree. I don't think scalping it is worth keeping it on board. Kel did sense a demonic nature, and after I've gleaned more off of it,
Can you hold that for 1 second? Sense the demonic nature. Can you elaborate on that for me, son?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I've noticed every once in a while I get a whiff of things. And there was a sulfur whiff to this. And I've learned that means evil, demonic, devil, I don't know, but evil.
he's never been wrong.
Okay. You're bringing this to me then?
And I don't know quite what it means, but this stuff. I've seen a lot, and this was terrifying. I only say that because I don't know what sort of energy it possesses. I don't know what sort of things it could attract, but I don't think it's healthy for the lives of our crew and our ship. I don't think it's wise to have it on board, sir.
I'll take that under advisement. For starters, I'll have Goron move it over to the starboard holding. Helps further away from the crew, further away from your quarters.
I appreciate that, sir. I just also want to... Well, I just don't want to necessarily go into battle and lose our safety net in the process.
I understand that, and again, I appreciate you being candid with this information. This is no small matter. That said, it sounds like this worthless crate of ore that we just picked up may in fact have more value than we originally anticipated.
Well, you have to weigh the risk for yourself, sir. I know you're smart and you're savvy. You've clearly been a captain a long time, and part of that is keeping your crew alive. So I'm sure you know that weighing the value of what you could get versus, quite frankly, having a ship and a crew and life in general.
We'll isolate the cargo for now. Keep a close eye on things. Any of you, seeing as it sounds like you have had the closest contact.
She's kind of glistening, like a little pale, just a little freaked.
I want to be the first to know if anyone experiences anything out of the ordinary.
Yes, sir.
Make that clear to the rest of the crew.
That's a good
Anything
idea.
develops,
Send
going
him-
overboard.
Well, don't throw him overboard. Send him to me. I might be able to help him.
No, the cargo.
Oh, like, Jesus, Captain, you just murder
You
fuckers left and
murderer.
right. I might be able to help him.
That is such a Kel thing to say.
Yeah, for one of the infrequent times you see a smile break.
I'll make sure before I throw any of my valued crew over the rail,
I appreciate
let them
that,
have
sir.
a nice heart-to-heart with you, Rustano.
That's all I'm asking, sir.
So long as you can explain to them why it's necessary that they're taking the long step. Fair enough?
I just.
Glad we see eye to eye.
Oh God, I'm not a murderer, sir. Anyway,
Was there anything else?
And again, we're getting into probably late afternoon here. We're starting to
Sure,
slide.
Okay, well,
sure.
kind of bristle.
She's sheepish about this one. Well, I'd say a month ago, maybe two. I don't know time right now. In Stone Mantle, there was a great ship that attacked.
You see an immediate acknowledgement of what you're talking about.
You saw what it did to. Oh God, I can't remember the name of the crew. Of
The
that
Harpy.
The Harpy.
And yes, I knew men aboard that vessel.
She looks at you guys just before for any sort of encouragement.
Cal's like he'll actually pat you on the shoulder, like you got this.
I'll take your hand.
Okay. She starts welling up. It's after me. It's chasing me. I don't know its whereabouts, but I know it can track me.
You see a bit of concern sweeping.
On very specific situations, it can track you magically.
Do I mean, how much I sense that I make myself noticed. Do I know anything about its tracking ability whatsoever? Fair enough. I make myself noticed, but I okay. All right. I don't.
Ooh.
I'm not saying that out loud.
No, that's not. As you guys are having this conversation, give me an insight check.
Can I too?
Nice. 16.
I don't know. If
Still, that's a
yeah,
decent roll
18,
regardless.
What is it?
It's wisdom.
No, it's the roll.
16.
Then 16.
Pretty invested in what you're saying. As you guys are talking, you watch his eyes kind of dart over your left shoulder and then back to you.
They seem to think something of value, but I thought you should know.
I appreciate that. As he says that, you can hear
Throw me
kind of
overboard.
the creak of some boards, and Goron, you can see, has the axe
Cal takes the
by
block action.
its
I'm going to draw my. Or I'm going to just.
throat. You can see that Mr. Slate has moved towards the quarterdeck, and Filion, who is still at the helm station, though, has kind of turned and is on his feet.
Do I is this all happening behind me?
This is all, well, I mean, you're certainly welcome
I'm
to,
aware
to
of this.
turn around. You're yeah, certainly the footfalls of Goron are what give you the initial indication. Turning back, you can see that the entirety of the crew has kind of closed in onto the quarterdeck.
Mm-hmm.
Kel, will you cast Zone of Truth on me?
Absolutely. Illustrate. Let
And-
only the truth prevail.
And he's in the. It's like a area.
It's an yeah. He's in it too. I could look
So
up the
he's aware of it.
radius. Yeah. Once you're in the zone of truth, you are aware that you're in the zone of truth. But only I know who's lying and who. That's all my knowledge.
Oh, only you know.
Yeah.
He's the knowledge referee
Yeah.
on this.
Oh.
So I'll be able to tell if you're lying. But
So it's
they-
not that you can't lie.
you can try. If you want me to look it up specifically, I can while you're going.
Boys, you can see they
On a failed save, a creature can't speak a deliberate lie. So if you fail, a charisma check.
Okay.
I think what you're trying to
Is that not gonna
impose is, I mean, he would have to.
He's the arbiter.
He would,
so
yeah,
that
he would
doesn't
have
really...
to believe that Kel is an impartial.
Okay,
Uh,
then
But if you fail, like, yeah.
As it blooms around you, it's come to my attention. We may have ourselves some dangerous cargo on board.
Cal moves between Aster and Goron.
Goron.
Gowron?
Oh no! Oh
Goron.
no!
Gowron.
Gowron. Goron.
Goron, if you could see that it's moved to the starboard side. Holding. On a ship this high off the ground, difficult truths are very valuable, Miss Aster.
She's like welling up with tears. She's scared.
And as promised, if I have any intent of throwing you overboard, I'll make sure you speak with Bastano first. But for the time being, you guys are part of my crew, and I look after my crew.
Kind of glancing back out, and you can see a pretty serious tone as he scans the horizon to your aft.
There's another vessel out there. Thinks they're going to lay hands on one of my people. Well, we'll show them what the Tempest can do.
Tears start to spill over, and she'll like run in and hug him.
Throwing your arms around him. Now everyone gets some fucking rest. So much goddamn tension on this. You can see that both Xerxes and Kali are
Don't you know we
we
are
thrive on tension?
snapping
I don't know
around.
if you know
This
this.
is how we
It's
live.
kind of our
He
thing.
We're
tosses
kinda
them another meal, and you slide into late evening. Mr. Slate has already actually, in fact, begun hauling up his follow-up to
Oh, he's gonna.
Oh, that's a tough act to
Yeah,
follow.
crit.
seems to be a stew.
Maybe.
A fish stew, not made well.
It's just it's kind of hard to say. Like if you had to put the qualifying word in front of the stew, like fish stew, beef stew. Anyone's guess?
I'm gonna just like
the-
flavor
Oh, yeah.
my bowl
Prestidigitation.
and maybe
The,
I'll do the little flavors.
It's.
You
I
wanna
mean,
know
Yeah,
to
flavors?
be fair, it's edible, but coming off of the tacos, and you can see that there's Goron specifically, who's kind of up against the rail. He shovels it through. It's a necessity meal. He kind of
Right.
gets it down,
Fuel.
and you can see though that kind of mopey shouldered. He as he goes to take his dish back.
Stono. I think Mr. Slate is gonna be a little occupied. Pretty much every night moving forward. I'm gonna need a hand with a few things. You think you can pick up cooking duties?
It'd be my pleasure, sir.
And you can see that.
Hey, Slate!
And you can see that Slate is kind of beaming as he.
You're
as
getting
he-
transferred.
Oh, I feel bad now.
I'm gonna need a hand with a few things. This, coming for a while. We're gonna have some things.
Mostly around mealtime.
I think you're the man for the job.
And you can see that kind of ladling a few more scoops in. He just kind of gives him a nod. Oh, all right.
Well,
Oh.
maybe you can have some pointers. I don't know.
Maybe eventually, but for right now, let's.
Or you
ego,
be
you
the guy.
know.
Before it gets too late, Cal, can I ask you a favor?
Yeah.
We're still on the aft here, or are we just?
You're right. Yeah, I mean dinner's playing out.
Okay.
You're wherever you prefer to be. You can see now though that that Miss Prynne has found her way. She seems to be chatting with Fillion at the helm as well.
Okay. Could we talk to them? And I point to Xerxes and
Yeah.
why
Absolutely.
can I call
Xerxes and Kalima. Yeah. Absolutely.
You are Josh right now. You realize
I
that
literally
Josh
I know.
is literally
It is-
telling you.
It is like just her name, and I don't know why I cannot like grasp it.
Kali. Yeah. Kalima. Kali.
No, that helps you.
I know.
I appreciate the Indiana
You're
Jones
welcome.
It's the
reference,
Hindu
but
goddess Kali, right?
Cully's the, yeah.
the what goddess?
Hindu goddess.
Oh,
Yeah. Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. Why not? I got a level 1 spell slot. You mind
I've
going
got
to
a
someone
spell
else? I gotta
slot
hit
for
the
that.
head real quick. So if you mind going to someone else, I'll be right back.
I would like to find the captain if he is.
Bouncing from the aft deck to the foredeck, where you can see that Draco has taken up a position, and the winds come up a little bit. It's kind of, you're getting into the evening, kind of a brisk air as you move further and further north. Things are getting a bit brisk. You can see he's got a heavier overcoat on, but he kind of just, I mean, for the last couple hours, he's been kind of at the bow, just scanning that horizon as you approach.
If he hasn't had any meal, I will bring that up for him to warm himself. Some of that delicious stew.
Okay. As you bring it up, he kind of glancing back over his shoulder.
Oh, thank you. I've already had my fill.
Kind of eyes going back out to the horizon.
Thank you for what you said earlier.
I said a lot of things earlier.
Primarily that we are your
Snarkiest
crew.
son of a bitch.
They are your crew, and that you will see to their safety.
I meant what I said. And, if I can't have crew on my vessel that I trust, then I just as soon not have her. It took a lot for you and your friends to come forward with that information. All of it. The value of that crate down below could be immeasurable. Could be nothing. The value of that information regarding your young friend and whatever the fuck that thing is. It's dominating the skies out here in the east. Just say you guys are all right. I'll take care of people on my vessel. Most important part about being a captain, Katerina. It's a quality that, thankfully, I don't think I'm going to have to teach you. A lot of men, they're interested in the ship. The rigging, the spars, that's the prize. Wear the hat, calling the shots. The real prize is knowing you ain't going to survive up here if you don't surround yourself with people you can trust. If you happen to care about those people, all the better. Don't get over-invested. I can promise you there's going to come a time where you're going to have to make hard decisions. They're made all the harder if you ain't thinking straight. I could use a second set of eyes. You don't mind sticking around for a while?
Not at all.
I'm not aware of this because I'm helping you talk to dragons.
Bouncing back to the aft deck. Where
I've been
is
so wanting to do this.
Well, here's a question. You might not need me
Do they?
because I was about to. I can go rules lawyer mode real quick if you need me to.
He can't speak Draconic. He can understand it.
But he can speak to you telepathically, and he can speak to anything telepathically.
Are wyverns technically dragons?
So that's the question: do these speak Draconic?
They
We'll have
speak
to
beast-
test.
Yeah, he can. You can just talk to him. So if,
Um,
I would happily love. to
Well,
help
I'm
you,
gonna
but-
make sure you're nearby.
That's true. And I'll put myself
Um,
between you and the,
Just
and
don't
the
put your
drakes.
fingers near their
No.
mouths.
Can you say hi to them? Oh, Ollie, can you say hi to them?
Ollie kind of head craning, like first like a 45 and then like a 90, like proper, and kind of looking at these two things. And again, they can definitely sense your presence. You can see they begin kind of shifting. And the two of them, they're close enough together. They're in their own separate holding cells, I guess you could say. But that they could lean their heads out and actually touch, and kind of intermittently you'll see them kind of nipping at one another. And Ollie kind of, for maybe a minute solid, you can see kind of his head kind of twisting and craning.
Like, is he trying or is he
You
confused?
don't get the sense that he is pulling any understanding from his
Well,
interaction.
Oh, but he is trying.
Yeah.
I don't think Ollie can talk to.
Absolutely. Illustrate he bless me. And he
How'd that go?
illustrate he bless me.
Okay.
All right.
I see it's upwards.
I like it. Let's go.
You know, I don't know. I might play with it.
I love it. I love it.
All right.
As
Hey,
you're casting.
Speak with animals.
Okay.
No, yeah, actually, good point. I need to mark off my spell slot. I'm running out of spell slots.
Fine. God.
Yeah, full caster. Suck my. Anyway.
That's all. That's all I do.
Anyway.
You can hear kind of.
I'm
chirps,
never asking a favor from you again.
chirps and chitters kind of emanating from within
What are
their
the,
cells, begin slowly kind of shifting into something more intelligible. They kind of looking at you, and there's almost a moment of
Can I see through their or their
recognition.
still
They're blind, but you
Oh.
can just see there's kind of they're all their other senses
Yeah.
playing into
Sure.
that space as their heads kind of craning.
Hey guys, it's me again.
Oh, you talked to them before?
Yeah.
Oh.
It's back.
Well, it's got some questions for you.
Give me one of those over there.
Tell you what,
Kind of.
answer a
Jets its
question, and absolutely.
Is he speaking a language like
No, I'm speaking common.
You can
speak-
understand.
Yeah, you
him.
can
I can
understand his
understand.
language.
So okay, so it's like understanding half of a telephone call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll go grab. As he says, I'll go grab a critter or two out of the box.
Okay. You can see both their heads kind of swinging in that direction.
Here you go, and I'll throw
God damn it.
each.
they grab him out of the air,
Totally undermining me.
swallow them down.
Aster,
Yeah.
I said after the answer questions.
Sorry.
If you want more, and we have lots more delicious, tasty treats.
I'm full.
God
Did
damn it.
they?
Head kind of drawing back into the.
Well, this has been
You
fun,
can see-
Aster.
You can see the other one's head kind of pokes out. I'm not.
Which
Oh.
one?
Well,
Well, I guess I don't know. Never mind.
this seems to be the one that's still chittering seems to be the more olive colored, and slightly larger
Can we
female.
Female, okay.
Seems to be the female. Yeah.
I don't know.
What
this
question do you want to ask, Aster? And don't feed it
Um,
another treat, please.
one.
Its head kind of twitching and sniffing in Ollie's direction.
Can you tell her how beautiful she is? Do they understand me?
No.
Okay.
I just think it's important you know how beautiful you are.
Say your head kind of twisting.
Your scales, gorgeous.
We need a seduction check on this.
I am rather.
It's kind of pushing its head out more, so you can see some of there's the elongated, not quite feathers, but these kind of elongated scales that run off. And now,
Before, I thought I saw beauty, but now I understand what true beauty is.
They're so graceful.
they have a habit of doing this kind of chittering thing with their teeth, where like they just and it's it's a clapping, kind of a loud sound, but you hear this kind of as she thrums her teeth.
What do I know about can wyverns like breathe fire or do anything?
Poison. Well, I don't know.
Does it depend on the?
This is Tom's world. I have no idea.
Give me. You
I
can give
did
me
read the
a
Beast manual,
just an
but I can't
intelligence
say that
check
it's
from-
Tom's Beast.
Okay.
From what
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. You got to be careful.
Intelligence.
I thought they were acid.
Again, I think it sounds more like poison.
Mm.
5.
That makes
Ouch.
sense.
10.
Let me get my.
Yeah, I mean, aside from really just what you've been told by Draco, which is that poison is going to be a very, very major element at play.
Okay.
Another. She leans her head out further, kind of, and turning it towards the box. Another chattering of teeth.
Can I see what she's trying to do?
She's definitely looking at the box of small
Ooh,
game.
Should I get her another one?
So, if you have a question, all I've been doing is seducing a word.
But I just want to talk to her.
You can't. I can. What do you want to ask her? Yeah, right.
She.
You can hear
she's so,
Those of you at home.
and
She mocking me?
jutting her
Oh.
head in the direction of the box.
I'll
You
go
can see
pick
kind
one
of
up
an
and I'll hold it.
elongated
I'll pick
serpent's
one,
tongue.
grab it up by the ears or
And
something.
you can see now she's
I'll hold it. Well, she's so beautiful. She's just perfect.
What's
Is she?
saying?
She is saying that you are beautiful. That you are perfect.
I mean, the claws and the
Tell it to
spikes. She's like the perfect weapon.
Okay.
Can you tell her for
Have
me?
a question.
I will, Kels.
Because she is ready to answer, and she wants that, and she deserves that. But she's got to answer a question.
Can she show us her tail? Can you show what she can do with her tail?
Your beauty is beyond compare, indeed, but
Yes.
it's your tail that interests us. Can we take a look at your tail?
You can see she kind of turning, and again the confines are such that it's not an easy thing to do.
Right.
But after a moment, kind of this tail kind of thumping onto the top, and it's actually it's not an attractive tail. I'll say the female tail kind of ends in a relatively blunt fashion. It's a little bit shorter.
Mhm.
You can see though it is just it is littered with quills that are coming out. They are probably about let's say anywhere between 6 and 10 inches long.
Jesus.
They are, you can see down each side, they kind of have a barb, and on the other side a barb and a barb. I mean, it is just gnarly looking, and you can see kind of glistening almost with and this is both of you can clearly see this, glistening with some kind of extrusion. There's like or I should say a secretion that kind of glistens on the end, almost to the point that it looks dew covered. Though you can tell as it slumps back off the rail, you can see like bands of kind of that sticky, almost sap-like. As you hear it kind of back onto the deck, and when it hits, you can feel too. Like you get a sense of the mass of this thing, despite it being relatively lithe.
Aster's like, wow, and even though
Tell it to feed me.
Wow, and she just does it just inherently. She throws it.
Okay, I'm just
No.
curious.
How close are your fingers to her mouth?
As you toss it, kind of grabbing it out of the air
I lay
and
on
shaking
But
hands.
it.
And
You can
revivify
see-
it.
she
We're
heard
okay.
my wow, even though she doesn't understand it.
She can probably
Infer.
infer tone at
Okay.
least.
Wow.
As she kind of shakes it, you see a bit of pieces of fuzz and like
Always
one of the limbs kind of clatter off onto the ground in front of the cage, head going down and kind of nipping it up and tossing it back into her throat.
Tell her she seems like the perfect hunter. What does that do to her prey?
You can't help admire those barbs on your tail.
Well, so tell her she's a
What
perfect hunter.
happens?
Tell her she's a perfect huntress.
What happens when you
Tell her.
release such
Her
exquisite?
head kind of darting back, like the amped up tone. You could see she kind of turning back.
It's just so amazing. What happens when those quills hit your prey?
I eat them.
Are they paralyzed?
Die.
Do they scream in agony?
Die. And then I eat them.
What-
You're not gonna
What
get
is
a
she
lot.
saying?
They die and she eats them. That's what she said.
Tell me, am I the perfect hunter?
Aster, what am I doing
How long does speaking with animals last?
At least an hour.
Please.
It's been an hour. It has
No,
been
it
an
has
hour.
not.
It has
Thank
been an hour.
God.
Not.
This
I
is
need
getting
to
fucking
teleport.
weird, and I don't like it.
Bouncing from the aft deck though, back to the foredeck, and at this point,
Oh, it's actually fucking 10 minutes, so it's probably dying.
okay, it actually probably has been 10 minutes.
God
Yeah.
damn it.
That's why we gotta ask her. What do you
As kind of she starts going through the, am I the perfect hunter, and then kind
You
of
did me a favor. I didn't say you were getting anything out of it.
she
True.
her
Kel
tones
will,
kind of devolve back into little barks and
Kel
chitters.
will throw her another animal from the.
She kind of catching it, and you can see this time instead of ravaging it immediately, she kind of lowers it down and sets it into the corner as she kind of settles in.
Yeah.
You can see the tail kind of raise up and kind of almost like the way a cat moves its tail.
Oh,
This
okay.
is kind of more of a
Yeah.
Well, let's be fair. And she grabs another one and throws it to the male and just, bye.
You don't understand, you Aster.
Both their
The
heads.
fact
kind
that
of
you're like
traces
20,000
you.
intelligence and I'm 6. This is weird.
She loves animals, dude. She loves animals.
Pivoting back to the foredeck.
Jesus. That was a
The
weird-
Did the guy do it? Did the male do anything though? Did he care?
I mean,
But did he eat it?
he
though?
received it and also
Did he eat it?
later didn't eat it.
He
kept
didn't eat
in
it,
his
so he
cage.
was full. But I'll have it for later.
There you go. Okay.
Hold on, I've got a random table for this. He seemed full.
That's a prepared
It was
DM
an
right there.
It was an
Let's see,
experiment,
hold on.
pal.
Where is my wyvern fullness table?
We gotta stop the game for 5 minutes.
No, you know what? Let's shut down the episode. Shut it down. Jumping back to the
Okay, serious face.
to the foredeck
Sorry.
as
That was fucking weird.
again we're thoroughly sliding into probably the early portions of watch shifts coming around. And in fact, as you guys are on foredeck, you can hear slight ding 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 ding, two chimes on the bell. Watch call, and you can see a few men kind of moving over in that direction. You on the foredeck, if there's anything you intend to do.
Shall we implement an extra person on watch here at the foredeck?
I like that. It's good instincts. I could take first watch if y'all want to grab some rest.
You've been at it a while, Captain. Perhaps you should rest. I can take first watch.
All right. You wake me when you get to the end of your watch. I won't be on deck for dawn. I'm expecting it's going to be early when we arrive at the entrance to the canyon. Good night, Katarina.
Good night, Captain.
He departs the foredeck. Mr. Slate, and you can see now that Goron, Filian, Prin have all begun moving over towards Slate, who's kind of just doling out watch assignments for the night.
Before I leave the Wyverns, I'm gonna go over to get my assignment. But before I leave the Wyverns, can I do a quick perception check of their natural artillery, as it were?
You're gonna have to elaborate for me.
Like differences between the male and female. I know you went over those, but like her tail is obviously a weapon. Does she have anything else? Like her
Oh, I mean, she's got serrated claws and teeth, but beyond that
Wings,
seems to be
she's-
winged. Yep.
is he winged?
Both the male and female are winged. Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, when you said he, I thought you were referencing Kel, and I was like,
Is Kel winged?
not that I know of.
Illustrate.
I got
Blast
some. No, so they are both winged,
Wing.
but
He's all like floating above there.
yeah. So
Constantly.
whereas like
It's my godhood coming
It's my
out.
god.
you know they're
Did you not know?
What's that?
I'm a god.
they're
Yeah, when I reach level 18, I turn into
winged only
So not
on the
yet.
front.
Not
They
yet.
don't have
Aspiring.
forward appendage the way that a dragon might.
I see.
Yeah, so they basically have wings and feet, but the
Yeah.
feet are still clawed and
That's a
not
traditional
not
Viking.
insubstantial
Traditional.
claws. Something
Okay.
that could pretty
Teeth,
easily tear apart.
jaws?
Absolutely, yeah.
I mean,
Everything.
I'm assuming.
and kind of
but-
a frilled, almost like a frilled lizard a little bit. They have more of kind of a cobra's hooded head than like Ollie, for instance, has a very slender,
Sure.
more sleek. And these you can see that they can communicate a fair bit just through kind of the bristling and splaying of their form, especially in kind of the head region.
Can I observe the way that they eat? Can I see? Are they able to like shoot poison, or is
No,
there like
there's
their
nothing
tongue or?
Observable that
Probably reach your hand in their mouth and just
I
would
see what's
probably
going
could.
on.
indicate. Yeah,
Cal
squeeze,
could.
squeeze those
Okay.
venom glands.
Yes.
See
Um,
what comes out.
No,
they're
uh,
just,
My
do
hand,
they
you
have
know?
visible glands?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
they're-
I was
they-
like, ah.
And the only main difference is you can
Used to
see that
wyvern. I don't know
the
how I feel about
Xerxes' tail is a fair bit longer, and you can see it is barbed. It is basically that of a scorpion. Is a
Okay.
So they don't
Hmm.
shoot, but they're definitely.
yeah. It's got a single heavy barb, and you can see that that
Mm.
barb is probably. I mean, it could probably go straight through a person with enough force by length, and you can see that again, kind of this bulbous venom sac that kind of is adorned by the sharpened barb at the end.
Okay. All right. So just taking them in one last time, I'll head over to get my watch assignment.
Watch assignments are doled out for the evening, and as we push into the night, it actually ends up being a watch on, watch off all things considered, a very quiet evening on board, a very relaxed evening. And as dawn begins to break, you are luckily not met by another tense encounter on the horizon. What you are met by, as just as the sun begins to cast itself across, you can see kind of this chasm that's been carved into just unbelievable heights of these sheer cliff faces. You can see land bridges that arc over it, almost making it as much a tunnel. I mean, there's plenty of breaks in that. But as you approach, you can see what appears almost like a waterfall, but just mist slowly kind of pouring off to the point that it's only in the little gaps between that mist that you can see the opening. It's almost completely obscured as this kind of the grandeur of the Shattered Canyon comes into view. Yes, sir.
I'm so sorry. During my watch, was I with Goran again?
Likely you would have been, yes.
Do you mind if I ask, like, if I could ask Goran, how do people fight his crew? So, like, obviously Goran's a front fighter. What, the captain's more of a rogue. He's all over the place. Damage dealer.
Slate tends to be a frontline
as well.
Fighter as well, and Filian is ranged.
Ranged. Thank you very much. That's all I had.
As you guys approach kind of the mouth of the canyon, extending upward, and you can see, like I said, it's almost entirely obscured as you push in, and kind of the silence of that fog that begins setting in as it kind of dampens the things around you. The prow of the boat begins moving now into a space where if you're standing on the aft deck, the bow of the boat is beginning to become obscured. And as you push forward, Miss Pran, and you can see that
Someone douse those topsails. Want full reefs. Take it slow.
and she comes up and kind of raising her hand, everything stalls for a moment. You feel the ship kind of shudder just slightly and then just crawling along. And as you do, you can see a massive spire of stone kind of by along one side, just completely obscured by the mist. You watch as it kind of 10, 12 feet from the rigging as it goes by.
Jesus.
You know, the first one kind of going overhead, some time passes before you see another jut coming out.
All right, take it easy, Pran. Let's bring her on in.
And as you guys begin kind of pushing in proper, just off the port bow, you can see kind of a spire of stone, and you can see adorned by these crystalline structures, kind of orange and gold hues. They seem slick, almost oily, as you pull in.
Right there. That's one of the deposits. The nitro. We need to be damn careful around those. Whether you're on foot, whether you're on board. Highly unstable.
Is it gaseous? Is that
No, it's crystallized, though it seems to be
okay?
again kind of
a liquid solid form.
yeah.
Got it.
As you pull in, you can see that the captain just gives a nod toward Filian, who kind of slowly brings the vessel this way. And the walls of the canyon at the mouth, I mean, are quite wide, but you can see rapidly, from the mist. Now you can begin feeling the cannon encroaching in on one side, encroaching in on another.
All right, everyone. Eyes on a swivel. More dangerous things in this canyon than wyverns. Let's hope the gods we're one of them.
And that's, I think, where we need to go to a quick break, or I should actually say, unfortunately, end the session. Just as we arrive at the canyon.
Oh.
Thank you guys so much for joining us this time. Hopefully we'll catch you guys next time as we arrive within the canyon and we kind of get
Finally,
into
some proper
the proper exploration, maybe a little dungeon crawl.
I mean,
Oh, that's what. Wait, that's what we're here for. Dungeons. and
But we really
And
appreciate you
and
guys
With
joining. Both.
Oh, we get both of them here.
Both. We really appreciate you guys tuning in and joining us. If you guys are enjoying Rakish Rovers, we would love a like, comment, and subscribe.
Please.
Are you seducing?
Anything else that you guys have for the beautiful people at home?
We
I'll
love
seduce
you.
them.
We love you.
I don't know. That was
Oh,
sweet.
that's
That
really
was-
sweet.
I wanted it dirtier than that, but that's fine.
Take off your clothes.
Whoa! Whoa!
Until next time, the world is yours.